What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate. Reverse rants, no hate. So, Joseph Parker, Zhang. Now, this was a fight, and this is a fight that one of the fights I definitely look forward to, right? To seeing. And I didn't think this fight was going to be full of fireworks, and it wasn't. It was a fight where punches were thrown sporadically, and these are two boxers. So in the video, when I told you guys that you can't say that Zhang is like, it's not like it's an automatic win for either guy. I can't just say, like, example, Zhang went through Joe Joyce twice, destroyed him twice. Joyce destroyed Parker, okay? But like Parker destroyed Wilder, okay? All four of them are different. Stylistically, Joe Joyce, with that pressure, that constant coming forward, the volume punching, that style will always give Parker problems. Okay, Wilder, who is just one-dimensional, no boxing skills. If he doesn't land the boom and get you out of there, you can outbox Wilder. Okay, Wilder's been knocked out by Fury. Zhang is a big, heavy-handed guy that can punch, but he can box. Whereas Parker can box, he's a lot smaller than Zhang. I thought Zhang was too heavy with this 290 plus pounds. It was, he didn't need to do that. He definitely didn't need to do that. Why he came in so heavy, I don't know. But here's the thing. When I look at the two, and I said it comes down to who make the least mistakes between the two of them, in my opinion. The other thing would be because now, in terms of stamina, see, I know, like, for me, I'm not sure that Parker has the legs to fight the way that I would want him to fight. And what I would want Parker to do is jab to the body, jab up, move, keep his head moving, stay out that center line, jab, body shots, work, get in, get out. Zhang is flat-footed. He doesn't throw a lot of punches, and he has stamina issues, all right? Those things are not going to improve in him. If you stand in front of Zhang and you're not active and he catch you, he can get you out of there. When he dropped Joseph Parker in the third round, that's exactly what was happening. Parker was standing there, nothing was going on. He caught him sleeping, bow, dropped him. He pops up, I forgot what round it was when he got dropped with the second shot, but it was some shots that kind of was, a couple of shots. Then he took a knee, gathered himself. Now, I think I had to fight. I had this fight in my head. I had it like 7 rounds to 5. I didn't know how the judges were scoring it. Now, when I'm looking at what was going on, and like both guys, it was times where Parker would land something hard, but he wouldn't follow up. He just, laid back, take his time. Then Zhang out of nowhere would, come back, throw a shot or two, whatever, but there was no, like, urgency. And I'm watching, okay, one thing I can tell you a couple of things. Like, one thing is for sure. Parker don't have the legs to move around the ring like he used to. He just doesn't. Okay, he just doesn't have that anymore. So the way he's fighting now, this Parker isn't an improved Parker. Parker has heart. Even when he gets hurt, he gets dropped, he never stops trying to win. Zhang and his low punch output, it helps that. because Parker didn't have anything coming at him. So being that Zhang saw that he can drop him with one shot, I think in Zhang's mind, that's what he banked on, his size and the fact that, he does have heavy hands and Parker can't move like he used to. He pictured Parker just standing in front of him and it was going to come down to him catching Parker with something hard and getting him out of it. And when he dropped him in that third round, when Parker got right back up, I said, okay, he's good. And, I'm watching the way he's fighting. He was being cautious and he was also trying to reserve his energy. And where you seen, like, one round, Zhang went back to his corner. He literally was like hanging on to the ropes and hunched. I'm like, man, this dude is spent. And Parker didn't push the pace. But I felt like he started to win those rounds. It just wasn't a lot going on. It wasn't a lot of activity. So if you compare this Parker to when Parker was in his prime, you see the difference. You watch any Parker fight, you see like he was a lot faster. They both look slow. They both slow feet, slow hand. Neither one of these guys look fast. And I'm watching this, okay? Parker's determination and his heart, okay, and him having better stamina than Zhang is what won this fight for him. Zhang, on the other hand, like I said, his stamina's not going to increase. He's not going to train different. He's 40 years old. He's going to keep doing the same things. So my thing was, who could make the least mistakes is probably going to win this fight. And that was a big part of it. Even though, Parker was they both were making mistakes. But the deciding factor overall was Zhang having that low stamina. And with him having low stamina, his punch output was crap. Now, with all this being said, okay, let me say, I salute these guys for getting in there fighting. Not turning fights down to take easier fights, but to go in there and say, hey, let's go. I'm ready, let's go. This is a fight like, when you look at what happened with this fight, you look at what happened with AJ and Ngannou, now people are automatically talking about AJ versus Parker, but if that does fight, it doesn't happen right away. And let me just say, I like Parker as a fighter, but I'm telling you guys, this isn't no new improved Parker. This is the same Joseph Parker that got beat by Joe Joyce. He was in there against a different opponent. Parker has heart and determination. He's not a quitter. He's going to keep trying to win. But Parker is flat-footed. He's slower. His punch output is not what it used to be. And Joseph Parker is not as elusive as he once was. Joseph Parker, and the thing is, I want to see the guy win. He's I like watching Joseph Parker fight, man, because the guy comes to fight. But I saw things in Joseph Parker that I've seen in his last 3-4 fights, and it's like, yeah, the thing is, he's winning. So when people say, but how did he beat Wilder? What do you mean, how did he beat Wilder? Because Wilder can't box. And he knew how to nullify the one-trick pony. It's as simple as that. When you can box, when you know how to box, that's the thing. Don't get me wrong what I'm saying. Parker's just not what he used to be. He's not. The new and improved talk is just that talk to build him up, to get attention to him. For one, when you're talking about him stepping up to fight AJ, I don't mind that fight. I just don't see that fight happening right away if it does happen, because for one, AJ's in position where, Fury's getting ready to fight Usyk. And no matter who wins, if that rematch clause is exercised, which I'm pretty sure it will be, I don't see why either guy wouldn't, they're going to get stripped. Okay? And if they get stripped, then what's going to end up happening, they're going to have to end up fighting, they're going to have to wind up fighting Erkovic. Now, whether Urkovic wins or whether it was Fury wins or Usyk wins, that person is going to have to fight AJ. So if we're talking about a fight with AJ and Parker, it's possible. But we're talking maybe, let's say, for example, that fight happens. And let's say AJ fights Urkovic and he wins, or whoever the winner would be. If Parker continues to win, yeah, then I could see that fight happening. Maybe 2025. Now, it could happen this year. You know, if they want to still try to fight 3-4 times, it could happen this year. You know, and that would be more of a build-up to an AJ Parker rematch because they already have history. Now, people are saying because of Wilder's situation, now that they're trying to put him in this equation. Well, the reality is Wilder's not in this equation. Wilder needs at least one big win, definitely. 2 big wins would even help him more, but he needs at least one big win against a top, level guy to even get back in that equation. And the fact that we know that the Saudis want to put him back on the card, and it's not about giving people title shots. It's not about giving people, just put them in a position to get something that they didn't earn. This is why I felt like I did about Ngannou skipping the line, because I knew what this was about. That's not what this is about. Now, for Wilder, I don't know who he has in mind, but we know out of the blue, Dillian White's cleared, has a fight coming up. Like, damn, we didn't just hear he's cleared, but he's cleared, has a fight coming up. So, I don't know. At some point, maybe Wilder ends up fighting a Dillian White. Somebody said one day in one of the comment sections that, they think that Chisora would give Wilder problems. And you know what? He just might, because it's not hard to give Wilder problems. It's not hard to outbox Wilder. But Chisora would be the weakest of the available opponents with respect on their name that's still in the game. Do you understand? So, yeah, it's less of a risk against Chisora than it is against these other actual top-level guys. Chisora's not a top-level guy anymore. He hasn't been for a long time. He's been the so-called gatekeeper. So, again, a fight with a guy of his caliber doesn't do him any justice to go into the ring with guys that are still elite guys and that's in there putting in the work. So it doesn't do anything. So for Wilder, the mindset has to be, Wilder needs to know and understand, I have to beat a guy that's elite level in order for me to not just get the fight, but to be in the best possible position I can be in to win, because I'm prepared for it. I'm ready for it. No excuses about being dehydrated, being in a cryo chamber, or my costume was too heavy. None of that nonsense. My water was poisoned. My glove gate, nothing. I need to be ready, physically and mentally. And fighting lesser opponents, it's just not going to give you that. It's just not. You're not stupid, man. You know when you're in there with better fighters and they're doing things that you just can't handle. And that's what he'd find himself going through. So, stay busy fights, yes. But he needs to understand, they don't go in there and say maybe knock out a Charles Martin or Emmanuel Char and then tell yourself that these guys are the equivalent of an Anthony Joshua or a Tyson Fury or a Joseph Parker or Alexander Usyk, because they're not. So guys like that, when AJ, let me tell you something. When AJ lost, let's look at what AJ did. When he lost to Andy Ruiz, he rematched him and he won. When he lost to Usyk, he rematched him. He lost both times. But the only losses on his record is to elite guys. Wilder has losses to elite guys, but he has no wins over elite guys. You understand what I'm saying? It's like I said, Berman Stilvern is no different from Charles Martin. Those guys, they're the same caliber type of guys. So at the end of the day, when you are in a fight with someone that you have to figure out, see, Wilder is not good at playing checkers or chess. And that's his downfall, is the lack of skill. So he needs to be ready and has to understand what he needs to do to win a fight. What is everybody saying about AJ and Ngannou? AJ understood the assignment. He knew exactly what he had to do. Okay, well, if AJ wasn't confident, he still wouldn't have did it the way he did it. You understand what I mean? And if he sucked the way people said, then he would have lost the fight. And he would have been timid of going in there to get, put himself in harm's way to throw those big shots. You understand what I mean? So a lack of confidence, it'll do that to you. He went in there with the seek and destroy mentality. He just don't talk a lot of shit outside the ring. You understand what I mean? So people, they think when you're a big talker that's impressive, but when you go in there and you do your talking in the ring, that's what matters. You can talk all the shit you want. It's funny because, every time like lately, when I hear these conversations and people making comments about all the trash talking, I think about Regis Prograis and Devin Haney. And, people always talked about how ready Regis was. He's confident. And I said, Regis talks a good game. But he has more mouth than he has ability. He can't box. He's a puncher. He has heart. And pretty much that's not enough. And you saw what happened. All of the talking about you ain't cut from the same cloth as me. You don't have the same struggles as me and all. Okay, so what does that mean? That makes you a better fighter all of a sudden? What does that mean? He still don't have the same struggles as you. He ain't cut from the same cloth, but he whooped your ass. Beat every round, dropped you, hurt you a couple of times. Made you look like a rank amateur. So, at the end of the day, it's what you do in the ring. The thing, even like with AJ, man, this guy had nothing but kind words for Ngannou. And he didn't try to tear into him. He didn't try to kick him when he was down. He encouraged him at the end, don't leave boxing, man. Stay with it. You can do it. And, this is the exact opposite of what these other guys do. They just, mouth. So, all that being said, y'all, it's like when I look at the fight with Zhang and with Parker, Parker did what he had to do. He overcame the 2 knockdowns. The second one is like he took a knee because he got bust, and he did the right thing in taking that knee, but he won the fight, and that's another confidence builder. That's still experience learned. The thing with Parker, though, that I'm telling you guys, and I see it, is he's not capable of doing the same type of things that he used to. And because Zhang is a stationary target is why he was able to land the shots that he did land. Wilder's long, skinny. So he could get in, throw his shots, and he could walk Wilder back. He can't walk Zhang back like that. So he had to fight him in a different way. But when he was standing there, to use his speed and outpoint him and get the shots off first is what you would imagine him doing. But Parker has slowed down. He's not the same. This is a different Parker. You keep hearing this. This is a more focused Parker. This is a... Nah. He has heart. He has determination. He has experience. And he has that dog in him. Yes. But he's not the same guy. The legs are not the same. The movement is not the same. The hand speed, the foot speed, it's not the same. It's just not. So, anyway, what he has left in the tank to work with, what he can do with it, how he can make his weaknesses strengths, how he can camouflage his weaknesses against, opponents, that's yet to be seen, but he got the job done, and it's just like that. It's like, remember, look, when Muhammad Ali came back after his 3.5 years off, he wasn't the same guy. He didn't have the same hand speed. He didn't have the same punching power. He didn't have the same, he could still move, but the timing, he just wasn't the same. But he was still great enough to be better than all the other fighters. Even though he took an L, he can give an L. But overall, what I'm saying is because he could fight, because of what he had, his heart, his determination, his ring IQ, his ability, his athleticism, he still had those things. But when he got to the point where he couldn't dance anymore and couldn't use his legs to get in and out, he showed that he could fight in the pocket if he needed to, and he was still quick enough to get that step, move, and lean and get back. But you could see he wasn't the same fighter. Now, Parker is no Muhammad Ali, but what I'm saying is he's still good. But Parker, there's still guys out there that could take it to him because he can't move like he used to. Now, who these guys are, like, okay, example, he has good punching power. But when he, like, for example, the shot that dropped him against Zhang, and I'm telling you, before that shot landed, I'm saying, move, man, move, and bow, he went down. Parker stands there, he's not ready to punch, but he's in punching range. He's not the type of guy to roll the shoulder, come back, or he stands there and, he likes to engage, he likes to lunge and leap in with shots. Okay, that leaping and lunging style, when you do that, and then you try to get in and hurry up and get your shots in and try to walk a guy back, that is usually when you don't know how to create openings. And when I was watching him, I listen, he put on a good performance, because even the shots he got caught with, him not being able to take advantage of an extremely tired Zhang. Like, Zhang was there to be knocked out, and Parker he couldn't pull the trigger, and it's because he wasn't scared. He was fighting cautiously, but he wasn't scared. He just couldn't do it. So, for somebody to push the pace on him, and this is what I'm saying. Look at Zhang's physical size to him, right? Even if Wilder would have came in 238 like he did in the last fight with Fury, for example, he doesn't have legs. He doesn't have that type of style. You could easily walk Wilder backwards. It's not hard. Wilder walks backwards on his own without you having to walk him down. But because of the style of him, he take the jab away, he duck under, come over with the overhand, and he grab, walk him back, and he starts pouncing as he's pushing him back. Wilder just don't know how to avoid the simplest things. He doesn't have basic fundamentals. So he's able to do that. He couldn't do that against Zhang. But he did it. He did what he did. And because Zhang is not a volume puncher, and because Zhang basically has stamina issues, he's not letting his hands go. That's what kept Parker in that fight as well. If Zhang didn't have stamina issues, he'd knock Parker out. Because Parker's there to be hit. Zhang is quick with that jab. And he's quick with the jab, left hand. I mean, straight, the jab straight. But when you look at him, right, you look at Zhang, and you see him tired, he can't even hide it. And you don't see Parker take advantage. And you see Parker's not scared. Your common sense, he's tired too. And he was trying to reserve his energy. So, with that being said, going forward, I don't know what's next for Parker. And this is where I'm saying, like, what Wilder better think about, and what he doesn't need to do. Wilder doesn't, look, let's say, for example, if we look at who's been on the card, Parker might be in the next with a guy like Frank Sanchez. Andy Ruiz hasn't fought in a while. Does Turkey want to bring him there? Or does he want to see Andy Ruiz fight somebody else first, and let's see, does he look like he's ready to come on the card over here with us, right? I don't know. But if Wilder doesn't get himself back in the mix against top-level guys, and these top-level guys are eliminating each other, while they're adding to their legacies and back and forth, and he's not fighting these top-level guys, who do you have as an opponent? You understand that's going to put you in that same um, category, that same equation with these top guys. And I'm saying it's not just to get the fight, but to be prepared to go in there and fight and win. That's the whole thing. And this is where you got to look at. There's no reason that he shouldn't have already fought Andy Ruiz. There's no reason that he shouldn't have already fought Parker. Now, he claims Parker is the one that ducked him. Remember that, right? Well, Parker beat you. They offered a rematch and you turned it down. And then the happy fighter stuff, and he's in a different spot. Okay, well, listen, man, that's your problem. You see, that's not nobody else's problem. It's an excuse, basically. But when you look at it, if, there's no reason why you shouldn't have already fought Joe Joyce. There's no reason why you shouldn't have already fought Dylan White. You told him you'll freeze him out for 2 years. You text him. So all of these things that he says, and yet you're not chasing these fights. This is why the attitude was like him saying, or 7-8 Sports talking for him saying, him saying the same thing. He said it on 7-8 Sports. He's thinking that, him and AJ still on. How could you think that? You know how to read. Your contract stipulated that both guys had to win. They was already planning that fight to happen. And people said if the fight didn't happen, it's going to be because of AJ. Boy, did that backfire. So now for him, why would you think that? The fight's still on. And instead of saying, you know what, I lost, and it's on me to get back on track. It's on me. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not done. I'm coming back. Not make those excuses fall apart, start talking all this nonsense about how people was happy to see you lose and all this, and pity party and talking about all these loud things going on and all this and all this stuff with him and his brother and all like that's going, like it's so much nonsense that he's gotten to an age where the things he should have did when he was younger now, to try to do it now, it's not going to be easier. And the problem that Wilder has to deal with is this. He can take a lesser opponent and still get knocked out. He can literally fight someone right now, still lose. That kills it all. He can't afford another loss, especially to a low-tier fighter. So here's what I'm saying. For you guys that think Jermaine Franklin is a pushover, then why don't Wilder fight Jermaine Franklin? Why not? It's better than fighting Charles Martin. It's a tougher fight. It's a more credible fight. You understand what I mean? And at this point in Charles Martin's career, especially, no. So why not fight him? So if you fought a Charles Martin, if you fought a guy like Emmanuel Charr, who's holding the belt for no reason, anybody that's a low tier guy, if he fight any of those guys, that is not going to prepare him the way he needs to get to where he's trying to get. And the fact of the matter is, we already saw what AJ did to Franklin, and this wasn't even the same AJ that we're seeing right now. This was the AJ that was getting back to that. So, for Wilder, anytime you fight a guy that somebody else fought, that people want to see you fight, they're going to always compare the performance. The thing, like I said with Wilder, if Wilder was to get outboxed and then wind up getting a knockout, that's typical Wilder fashion. So it would be the same thing. So it is what it is. I don't expect any changes from Wilder. That's the thing. He needed to do this a long time ago, but he just needed to get the wins. And if you fight someone that's not even the same caliber of a Jermaine Franklin, it's just a stay busy fight. Okay, if Jermaine Franklin is not a threat like your fanboys are saying, you'd fight him. Why not? If you yourself, you're saying you want to fight nothing but the best guys, okay, well, Jermaine Franklin is not a slouch. So you at least fight somebody on that level. Nobody cares to see him fight Emmanuel Charr, even though Emmanuel Charr holds a belt. Nobody cares. Nobody knows who talks about him. Nobody wants to see him fight a Charles Martin caliber fighter. Now, his fan base will want to see that because they know it's a safer fight. So my thing is, I don't, like I said in the last video, I don't see this as a confidence building fight. I just see this as a stay busy fight. So even if he had two stay busy fights and said, okay, now I'm ready to get serious and get back in there with top guys. Well, who would that top guy be? Because what we're trying to get, we've been trying to get him and Andy Ruiz. And in fairness, you can't fight 2-3 times and then fight a guy coming out of that hasn't fought. And after you had people say they didn't think it was fair that you fought Parker, who was busy and active, and you wasn't. When was the last time Ruiz fought? So at that point, you see, it's too many excuses to not make a fight happen. And it just winds up being a thing where it's a bunch of talk, a bunch of accusations, a bunch of rumors, but the fights aren't being made. So, he's coming off of a loss. I still don't see Deontay Wilder, don't be fooled, jumping there with Zhang. I still don't see that happening. Because even though Zhang has, stamina issues, Wilder could have took that fight. That could have been Wilder and Zhang in there. And here's the crazy thing. We heard Sheik say he wanted, Turkey said, we heard him say he wanted to bring Wilder back, right? Wilder did not sign the contract. And Zhang did. So Parker was confident. Wilder obviously wasn't. So we're not talking, we don't care about the happy fighter stuff and all that. No, what we're talking about is this. You're training. People keep posting videos of you training, saying Wilder's getting ready for his comeback fight. But against who? He turns 39 in October. Okay. How soon is he going to fight? Don't know. What I'm looking at for Wilder, what I'm looking at is this. I don't know who Wilder has him. I told you guys I wouldn't be shocked if it's Derek Chisora and Manuel Char. Now, I don't know how Derek feels about jumping back in the ring, if he's gotten to the point where he's like, nah, I'm really done, because he hasn't announced the retirement. But, I'm noticing he's commentating, he's doing, interviews and stuff with people and stuff like that. So, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to get back in there. I don't know. But I'm saying as far as Wilder intentions on an opponent. But when I look at Wilder and I'm looking at the fact that, I don't know, him and Ruiz seem like it's never going to happen. Him and Ruiz, I don't see it because he doesn't, he's shown no interest in it. Who does he want or think that he can fight to elevate him? Ranking systems are rigged. We already know that. Does he become somebody's mandatory? I don't know. But when I'm looking at Wilder, what I'm saying, he needs to. I don't know how him and his team see it, but Andy Ruiz, a former champion, that's the way he needs to go. Not another fight with Luis Ortiz. He don't need those type of guys to think that's the launching pad to get him back. I don't know. And so I don't know how the landscape is going to shape. We see who's at the top right now. We see who's doing what. But my point is, Wilder has to work his way back into that. So I'm pretty sure they're going to try to give him the safest fights that he can get, and hoping that due to his reputation or the fact that people wanting to see him in AJ Still or whatever, that will get him back in there. I believe in earning your spot. Okay. But what I'm saying is, we don't know who's available. And let's just say, for example, they tell him, okay, we want you to fight Frank Sanchez. Do you turn that fight down or do you take it? We want you to fight Efe Ajagba. Do you take that fight or do you turn it down? And these are two guys that are more than capable of beating Wilder. So the thing is, can Wilder land the right hand? Can they get Wilder out of that? So people will watch for that reason. But those are risky fights. And that's what I know he doesn't want. Because if he did, what we saw last night would have been him in a rematch against Parker, or him versus Zhang and Parker versus somebody else. And we didn't get that. So we know whoever he goes for next is not going to be a top level guy. So when it comes to the top names, and for Wilder to stay busy, he doesn't have to take a low tier fighter. And that's why I'm saying I don't see this as a confidence building fight, taking a low tier guy, because they can't do what the top tier guys can do. I see this as a stay busy fight. So if it's about staying busy, well then Wilder needs to be in there fighting top level guys. But for him to say he don't know if he still have his killer instinct, he's doubting himself. Remember how Anthony Joshua was doubting himself at one point? Well, that's what he's doing now. And now Anthony Joshua is seek and destroy. I don't care. I'm ready to go. Okay. So you don't get your confidence back, like I said, to fight a top level guy by beating a low level guy. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. Now you can trick yourself all you want to thinking differently, but when you get in there, you'll know this isn't the same type of guy that I just beat. I got to be ready and better prepared. And the fact that he's not going to gain any more skill, he's not going to do anything different from what he's been doing. It's just a matter of who can he land the right hand on and get out of here. And that's just all it is. That's all it is. It's like Hulk Hogan changing his outfit, but still doing the same ass leg drop, the same move, the same little clothesline, winding, the same thing, just a different look. That's all. So I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. But if he loses again, it's over for him. Like it's completely over for him. As far as Joseph Parker, what's next for him, I don't know. And looking at who's out there, the next Saudi card will be in 3 months. And so who's going to be on it? I don't know. But guys that, like Frank Sanchez, like certain guys that was already on the card before that wasn't on this one, we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see. And you don't know who's available, but I'm pretty sure they want Joseph Parker back on that card. But against who? And this is what I love about these fights, because these fights have meaning. Okay, they have meaning with your placement and who. So, yeah, they want that money. They want to climb up that ladder, and this is what they have to do. Anyway, Parker did it. He got the job done. I salute both of them because they came in there and they fought. They came in there and they fought. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. And like I said, Parker has heart. He has determination. He has that grit. He has that dog in him. And the thing about it is this. Even with the flaws I see, the point is it's boxing. Like I said, he faced adversity last night, and he got up off the floor. He won the fight, and that's what matters. So the whole point is putting your skills to test. Because with those same flaws, he still beat Zhang, right? So you see the point what I'm saying. Because Zhang flaws, he was able to take advantage of. He was able to capitalize where Zhang wasn't. But with the low punch output, see, Parker would have to knock out a guy like Frank Sanchez. Otherwise, skill for skill, Frank Sanchez will break him down. He'll batter him, he'll hurt him. And Parker's not hard to find anymore. You see? That would do everything for Frank Sanchez to elevate him. Now, the question would be, let's say if that happens, who really wants to fight Frank Sanchez? You know what I'm saying? Like which one of these guys out here? Which waiting for Andy Ruiz to get back in the mix. It's just, Joe Joyce has a fight coming up. And so you got that mixture of the old line still there, and then you got some younger ones mixed in, but, the balance needs to be there where guys are starting to build names. And right now, things are going to shape up differently based on what happened last night, because now that we've gotten Ngannou out the way, regardless to what he wants next, that gravy train shit, these huge paydays, skipping the line stuff, like it just makes no sense, and like for people that think that that's a fight that Wilder should have, well, I guess now after seeing what happened. Now, if you got false confidence thinking just because AJ stretched him out, that Wilder would do the same thing to him, they're two different fighters, guys. AJ's a thinker. He's a smart fighter. Wilder's not. Just because Wilder knock you out with the right hand, setting you up and bringing it to you properly, see, it's different, man. It's different. So, but his stock is down. So, like I said in the last video, even if he fights Ngannou and was the win, it does nothing for him. If he loses, it definitely, like to anybody, it's the end for him, low tier or top tier. But especially if he was to lose to him, especially, and he's not going to fight him. Why? Because he knows it's still possible. Ngannou knocks him out. And believe me, people know with Wilder's lack of experience that it's more possible that Ngannou will knock him out. So he knows. You think he want to get knocked out by a guy that AJ just knocked out? No, So he has to work himself back into this equation with big wins. Bottom line, no sugarcoating it. Let's just say it like it is. And what's next for him, we'll see. We'll see. But he better find his mojo and stop all his happy fighter stuff, because that's not going to get him, what he needs. And what he needs to earn. So, salute to Joseph Parker and Zhang. What's next for Zhang? We don't know. Zhang is 40 years old. Zhang, you was too heavy last night, man. There's no need to be over 290-something pounds. Just it wasn't necessary. It didn't help him. He didn't need to come in that big. I don't know what type of training he was doing. But, again, don't think just because Parker beat him. Let's not be, foolish. Don't think just because Parker beat him that Wilder will. Parker versus Zhang was a competitive fight. They were going back with each other. Parker versus Wilder was one-sided. Like completely one-sided. So, even with the lack of activity and things that was happening, you got to understand, smart boxers know how to survive. One-trick ponies, it's an uphill battle if they can't get the knockout. And that's exactly why it's easy to say what Wilder would have done. Y'all said the same shit about Parker, and look at what happened. And, this isn't about, why I don't see Wilder fighting any one of them. But Zhang, as far as I'm concerned, too big, too strong for Wilder. And Wilder just not smart enough to know how to get away from big shots. And the way Wilder fights, Zhang could pick his shit off with simple basics. This is what I'm saying, but people don't understand. He just can't box. And what you picture is him landing the right hand and the guy going down. And you don't think, like for Wilder to stay away and just jab and move, Zhang is slow. He's flat-footed. Now, he has a quick shot. But I mean, like, moving, no, he doesn't. You have to make him work. And this is what I was thinking about with Joseph Parker. Make Zhang work. Make him move. Give him angles. Jab to his body. Move. Give him feints. Throw your combinations. Get in, get out. Wear him down. Break him down. And make him fight more than he wants to. And if he gets desperate, because Zhang is not a banger, he's a boxer. It's just that he's heavy-handed and he can punch. But if you take it to him and you get in, you get out and move. I don't mean float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm talking about, sting like a bee here. But the float like a butterfly part, that's not what I mean. I mean lateral movement, jab, move, make him come in, offset him, keep popping him, go to the body, get in, get out. Don't get greedy and start loading up for no reason. Just trying to hit something, no. Be precise with your shots. And then you start to break him down, because when Zhang comes in, he's coming in behind the jab and he's coming in, moving his head. He's in boxing mode. He's not in let me jump on you and knock you out mode. No. Even when Zhang knocks you out, he's throwing his punches, but he's coming to outbox you. He's trying to land his shots. But he's not coming with like Mike Tyson intentions. He's not coming with Joe Frazier, George Foreman intentions. He's coming with just trying to outbox you, trying to win a fight. If he win by knockout or decision, it is what it is. And Parker didn't really do that. He won the fight. Bottom line, that's what matters, is he won. But, you know, it is what it is. But y'all will see. Somebody's going to get in there with Parker. And you're going to see exactly what I'm saying about this is the same Joseph Parker. But he never lost his heart. He never lost his grit and his determination. But skill-wise, Parker's not the same guy. He's not what he was. He's the same guy that fought Joe Joyce. I'm telling you this. I see it. And, you know, if you didn't see the fight, look at it. And look at how dead tired Zhang was and how Parker just refused to really unload on him. He was just here and there. And I'm like, yeah, he's trying to reserve his strength and his energy. And neither guy was able to capitalize enough to do any more damage than what they actually did. But Parker was able to land more shots and steal the rounds and win. And that's all that matters, that he won. So with what he has, I'm interested to see his next fight. You know, and that's just what it is. It's a fight. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. But, you know, I'm just bringing up the point about Parker not being the same guy that he used to be, but he is the same guy that lost to Joyce, is because I know what I see in him. And that's why I say, watch his fight last night. Now go back and watch when he was champion, and you will see he was a lot faster, a lot quicker, had better movement, better head movement, do better combinations, and all of that. You know, the fact that he wasn't able to jump on Zhang and really put any hurt on him, you know. But again, and then people look at the Wilder fight. But again, y'all, because Wilder cannot box. His only weapon was nullified. That's all. Now, who would y'all like to see Parker fight next? You know, hey man, I like Joseph Parker as a fighter. I like Frank Sanchez as a fighter, man. You know, if Jared Anderson can get his shit together, stop. He got police chasing him up and down the roads and doing stupid stuff. So Jared Anderson's not even serious about boxing. So really, like that's on him, you know. But yeah, I would like to see Frank Sanchez against Joseph Parker next. That's the fight I would like to see. You know, Andy Ruiz has been, you know, he hasn't been active. You know, that would be a rematch if he came back and got on the card. So, you know, I would like to see Wilder, if he's going to do anything, fight Andy Ruiz, fight some. Got to be somebody, you know. We're not going to even speak on Wilder anymore. Let's see what direction Wilder goes in. But bottom line, in terms of him getting back in the mix after he had his one or two stay busy fights, it needs to be somebody, you know, a top level guy. So until we find out what's going on, we're not even going to speak on that anymore. But I would like to see, I would like to see Joseph Parker versus Frank Sanchez. Tell me what y'all thought about the fight with Zhang and Parker, and tell me who would y'all like to see Parker fight. And in fact, for Zhang, who would y'all like to see him fight? Because for every fighter that wants to stay in boxing, you stay in boxing and you stay at the top by fighting and competing and beating the top guys. Sometimes, a lot of times, even in defeat, depending on how you hold your own, you still end up at the top. He lost a decision, but like I said, he managed to get 2 knockdowns. So, yeah, you know, it's not like Zhang got dominated, but it's just that his stamina is showed. So, tell me what y'all think. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings it out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.